The movie starts with a woman walking into a smoky area where there's a big explosion and gunfire far away. Meanwhile, Ethan is on a plane playing a video game while someone records him. He talks about time being a big mystery and how they figured out how to use something called force. Ethan says they've been flying for 5 hours in the first plane powered by a new energy source called Quantanium, made from time. Ethan says he's the captain and the creator of Quantanium. Suddenly, the plane starts going down, and Ted says they can't control it because the switchboard isn't working. Ethan doesn't seem worried and tells the passengers they'll get a close look at the Pacific Ocean as they go down. Jacob argues they should have done the first flight without people on board. Ethan disagrees, saying they would have lost the plane by now if they did. Ethan turns the plane off and back on, but they still can't control it. The autopilot is still in charge. Ethan told everyone that he did all he could and they only had a few minutes left to live. He suggested they make the best of those moments. Jacob was mad at Ethan's risky behavior while Eva panicked, worried about missing her fashion stream scheduled for the next day. The scene then shifts to Eva on stage, talking about Ethan and inviting him up to talk about time. She also introduces his brother Jacob, who works as the company's commercial director. Ethan talks about his obsession with time and its mysteries, mentioning their dad, Professor Henry Blake, who vanished in 1984 after being the first to tap into time energy. He's enthusiastic about using time to their advantage and shows off Quantanium, the energy source. He unveils the first plane powered by Quantanium, set to break records with a non-stop flight around the world. Ethan introduces Ted, the chief engineer, and acknowledges the rest of the team. They name the plane after Elizabeth Paulson, someone special to Ethan, who recently passed away. Then the scene goes back to the plane where everyone has passed out except Ethan. He wakes up to find 2 people stealing the Quantanium. He grabs his gun and confronts them. After leaving the plane, he encounters a girl in a lake. She's scared, but Ethan reassures her and they talk. Suddenly, another girl appears and hits Ethan with a wooden stick, triggering memories of their childhood. The scene then flashes back to when Henry, Ethan, and Jacob's father is about to leave the family for an extended period. Young Ethan angrily expresses his desire for his father to stay away forever. Henry advises Jacob to take care of Ethan and always stick with him till the end, no matter what. Back in the present, Ethan wakes up and starts walking in the dark. He discovers the Quantanium broken on the ground and finds Jacob and the others. Jacob confronts Ethan, asking where he's been. Ethan explains that soldiers took their Quantanium, so he went after them. Jacob is frustrated and questions Ethan's plan. Ethan reveals their Quantanium has been destroyed, which not only erases 3 years of work but also prevents their plane from taking off. Ryan, Ted's assistant, confesses he caused all of this. He programmed the autopilot to land them here intentionally. Ethan demands to know why, and Ryan explains Elizabeth Paulson told him Ethan needed to come here to find something precious. Ted tries to calm everyone down, saying the plane should be fine since they landed safely. He mentions the emergency beacon would have sent their coordinates for rescue, but Ryan admits Elizabeth instructed him to disable it so nobody else would come. Jacob blames them for bringing everyone here, but Ethan reveals he has a different goal and leaves to explore the island. He finds a cabin with a recording addressed to someone named Matt. In the recording, Tina expresses her disappointment that Matt couldn't join her on the island as the professor's assistant. Meanwhile, Jacob walks cautiously with his gun ready, surrounded by dense fog that makes it hard to see. Pushing through the fog, he spots a gathering of people at a party and quickly hides his gun. Jacob sees his father giving a speech about a new invention that converts time into energy. His father mentions the date, August 22nd, 1986. Ethan spots Tina, the girl from the lake, carrying the Quantanium. He follows her and confronts her, but she claims she doesn't know him. Ethan insists the Quantanium is his invention from 2019, but Tina insists it's from 1986, created by Professor Henry Blake. While they're talking, an officer arrives and points a gun at Ethan. Ethan tries to explain, but the officer shoots at him. Before the bullet reaches Ethan, everything vanishes, including Tina, the officer, and the bullet. Jacob and Ethan realize that everyone has vanished. Jacob mentions seeing their father giving a speech dated August 22nd, 1986, which is 2 years after he left them. Ethan confirms the date and adds that everything disappeared along with the fog. They spot a kid sitting nearby and Ethan approaches him, hoping he knows what's happening. But when Ethan gets closer, the kid runs away and Ethan follows him into a house. Inside, Ethan finds a recording and plays it. It's the girl from earlier being interrogated about stealing the Quantanium. While Ethan listens, a guy starts performing a theater act nearby. Ethan remembers seeing a kid named Rob earlier and recalls hearing his mom call him Rob. He approaches the guy and asks if he's the kid from the theater. Jacob, along with Ryan and Ted, find Ethan. They overhear soldiers on a radio saying they found where the Quantanium was hidden. The soldiers pick it up and Ethan claims it's his. They hear him and turn back, ordering them to kneel. Just then, Rob turns on a light and a fog descends, making everything disappear again. Ethan begins explaining this situation to everyone. He reveals that it took them 3 years to develop Quantanium, but here it was created in just 20 minutes. This rapid process caused a side effect, creating a fog of quantum particles carrying imprints of events from specific days. A copy of the days were played inside the fog, running parallel to their own day. Ryan mentions that they've been interacting with people in the fog. Ethan clarifies that these are quantum copies, and there are 2 days playing out in the fog, August 22nd, 1986 and August 22nd, 2036. The quick production of Quantanium was possible because they were working with a 50-year time wave. Meanwhile, Jacob talks over the phone with an operator who informs him that they tracked the signal source, but the map only shows the ocean. Jacob insists there's an island, and the operator says his ship sails tomorrow morning and will arrive in 2 days. Ethan suggests they need to figure out how the T-engine works and how to bring it with them. Ryan suggests looking for Eva, but Ethan believes help will come in 2 days. Ryan calls Ethan selfish and leaves, giving him a necklace from Elizabeth. Ethan follows Ryan and finds himself in a war zone outside, where 2 soldiers find him and order him to the floor. They accuse him of starting a war with unmanned machines and hiding the island to protect the T-engine technology. One soldier attempts to shoot Ethan, believing he's responsible for the deaths of his wife and child. Ethan denies it, and a tank bursts through the wall, leading them to the battlefield. There, Ethan finds Ryan and Eva hiding behind a soldier shooting at an aircraft. Ethan takes over the aircraft and they try to save Ryan, but he gets shot. Ethan confronts his father, accusing him of being self-centered, and soldiers arrest him. However, Henry orders them to take Ethan to his office. Henry suspects Ethan of being a spy and demands to know who sent him. Ethan reveals his identity and confronts Henry, mentioning he knows about the T-engine and its side effects from the notebook Henry left behind. Ethan tells Henry the truth. Their mother died, and he and Jacob grew up in an orphanage. Henry remains in denial, believing his return will change everything. However, Ethan suggests their meeting might only reveal who Henry has become. Suddenly, a guard informs Henry about a large fog cloud with something inside it. Henry tells Ethan to stay, but there's an explosion in the office and Ethan flees. He tries to escape gunfire and finds his father lying on the ground. Ethan warns Jacob not to take anything from the place, but Jacob insists they need to take as much Quantanium as possible for their company's future. Ethan urges him to stop the engine, saying it could lead to future war. Jacob agrees, but thinks they can prevent it now that they know. Ethan argues the only way to stop it is by destroying the engine. Jacob reveals their father was killed by their drones and reminds Ethan of their father's advice to always follow through to the end. Ethan asks Ted to stop the engines, but he refuses. Ethan tries to stop it himself, but Jacob intervenes. Eva attempts to break the engine, and Jacob shoots her. Rob throws fireworks, distracting everyone, and Ethan takes the opportunity to escape and lock. Jacob and Rob watch the interrogation video of Tina like a movie, and Ethan decides to carry out Tina's plan to destroy the T-engine. His plan is to take Quantanium and put it in the engine, causing an explosion when the energies collide. Ethan starts working on his plan, returns to the time when he first saw Tina with the Quantanium. He approaches her, pretending to be Matt, the person she writes letters to. Tina believes him and agrees to help. They plan to get the Quantanium in the morning. Tina takes Ethan to where Rob lives with his mom and asks Rob to give her the Quantanium. Rob is confused, and Ethan realizes the day in the fog is changing and the launch hasn't happened yet. Another Tina appears and leaves with Rob's mom. Ethan follows to explain, revealing he's Henry's son from the future and lied about being Matt to find the Quantanium. Tina struggles to believe him, so Ethan takes her to the older Rob to convince her. Tina recognizes Rob after they sing a familiar song, and he gives her his backpack, which contains the Quantanium. Tina is puzzled by the presence of another version of herself. Ethan explains she exists in a mass of processed quantum particles he can control within a 100-meter radius using a device. Ethan notices Tina wearing the same necklace he got from Elizabeth and shows her his. Inside, they find an SD card with a recording from Elizabeth, revealing she is Tina. Elizabeth apologizes for luring Ethan to see the consequences of their experiments. She survived the destruction, changed her identity, and sought out Ethan to raise him differently, believing he's special. Tina decides she wants to carry on the plan herself. Ethan and Tina discuss the plan and begin implementing it. Ethan catches Jacob and Ted trying to steal the Quantanium, and he alerts the soldiers. Sneaking in, Ethan places the Quantanium in the machine. He informs Jacob about the explosive situation, and Jacob starts experiencing everything Ethan went through, from encountering the soldiers to meeting Tina. As Jacob is about to shoot Tina, Rob intervenes and hits Jacob with an umbrella. Ted, witnessing the fight, shoots Jacob. An aircraft mistaking Jacob for an enemy shoots Ted. Ethan approaches the T-engine and gets teleported. He shows his father and Tina what he recorded, and Henry feels saddened by the waste of his life's work. Ethan reminds him that his family is waiting, and they destroy the machine. Henry reunites with his family, and Tina sits in the car, feeling a sense of closure as she watches the complete family enter their home. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps.